Hi guys, Alberto here. You're watching the Bedroom Rocker YouTube channel. Today we're gonna check out a very special guitar, the Fender Baja Telecaster. The Baja Tele was part of the Fender Classic Player series, which just got discontinued. So it got replaced by the Vintera Modified series, and they have a similar guitar on the range. However, they discontinued the use of the name Baja, which in my opinion was a big mistake because these guitars have a very high reputation. If you are a Telecaster player like me, you probably know about them. So let's take a closer look and see why they have such a high reputation. The Classic Player series and the Vintera Modified series are vintage-inspired instruments with a few tweaks that make them very attractive. They actually have very similar specs to many custom shop guitars, but they cost 4 to 5 times less because they are made in Mexico. Actually, the Baja Telecaster was an original design by master builder Chris Fleming, made to the NAMM show, and the design got so popular that they decided to put it into production. They chose the Mexican factory in Baja California and they named it the Baja Telecaster, and the legend was born. So this is obviously inspired by a 50s black wire Telecaster. It has got ash body. Ash is known to have some variability in weight, so some of these guitars are light, some of them are quite on the heavy side. This guitar has a maple neck, and the neck is one of the main selling points of this guitar. It is a very chunky, soft V profile. It's not so easy to get chunky necks on cheap to medium price guitar nowadays, so this is definitely something that stands out. It has also got a maple fretboard with a 9.5 inch radius, so it's also easier to bend the strings and there's less string choking than a traditional 7.25 inch radius that you find on vintage instruments. And it has got large jumbo frets. And finally, the traditional vintage style tuners. The bridge is a traditional ashtray type of bridge with 3 compensated brass saddles, so plenty of twang there, but this also means that you cannot intonate the guitar 100%. Who needs that anyway? Another major selling point are the pickups. So on the neck we have a Custom Shop Twisted Tele pickup, which has a lot of sparkle in the top end, a lot of bite. So if you think Telecaster neck pickups are dull, dark or lifeless, this pickup would definitely work for you. So it sounds a bit more like a Stratocaster neck pickup. On the bridge, Fender used it to market these as broadcaster style pickups. They later, I think because of naming rights, started to call them Twisted Tele bridge pickups, and I think now with the new Vintera Modified series, they're just calling it vintage style Telecaster bridge pickups. Anyway, these are just sort of 50s black guard Telecaster bridge pickups, so you get flat pole pieces. These pickups are slightly overwound, very wide frequency response, and a lot of punch, a lot of bite, so just classic 50s Telecaster sound. The control plate of this guitar has also got some interesting features, so starting with the pickup selector. So at position number 1, you get the bridge pickup by itself. Position number 2 gives you the bridge and the neck pickup together. At position number 3, we have the neck pickup by itself, and these are the 3 regular positions that you get in a Telecaster. Besides that, you have position number 4. So this gives you the neck and the bridge pickup together, wired in series. So they work as if they were both the coils of a humbucking pickup. This sounds a bit fuller, it's a bit louder, and it's an interesting sound to have in your hands. Besides that, you get the volume control, which has the S1 switch. So the S1 switch works in positions 2 and 4 whenever you have both pickups engaged, and it flips the phase of the pickups. So you can set them out of phase and get this very nasal, very mid-range sound. So it's an interesting sound, not everyone digs it. I think it's great to make some skinny, funky lines or to play some Peter Green style blues solos. It's a nice feature to have. That said, this S1 switch, it's not that robust. So some people find it makes popping noises and crackling noises, and this is a common mod to get rid of this S1 switch in the Baja Telecaster. I particularly like it, although I don't use it as often, so I think if the guitar didn't have this, I would still buy it anyway. Finally, we get the traditional tone control that works in all the positions. In terms of pricing, the Baja used to go for around 800 to 830 euros, so the good news is that the new Fender Vintera Modified Telecaster didn't get so much more expensive. The Baja belonged to the Classic Player series, which sat above the regular Classic series, and now the new Fender Vintera Modified series sits above the regular Vintera series. And in general, I think the upgrades that you get for these guitars are really worth it. So you pay around 100-150 euros more than the regular series, but in the case of the Baja, you get this very nice chunky soft V profile neck, and you get the 9.5-inch radius, you get the Custom Shop pickups, and also the crazy switching system. So these are all upgrades that directly impact tone or playability. So I think they are really worth it, and if I were going to pick up a guitar today, I would rather choose a Vintera Modified Telecaster than the regular Vintera Telecaster. A few years later, Fender released another model, which they decided to call the 60s Baja Telecaster, so the original one became the 50s Baja Telecaster. The 60s model has some different specifications, so it has got a rosewood fretboard, which later became a Paul Farrell fretboard, and it also has got a 60s C neck profile, so it's a bit slimmer than the soft V profile on the original Baja. And it has got a pure vintage 52 and pure vintage 58 single coil pickups. So these are more vintage sounding, very low output single coils. It has also got the 4-way switch and the S1 switch. So it is a different guitar, so different sounding guitar, but also quite a cool vibe and some good sounds there as well. Regarding the color options, this is a desert sand finish, which is not particularly attractive, but which has got some very cool vintage vibe to it. There's also black and sunburst, and the most common one used to be the butterscotch finish. Right now there is a shell pink special run model, which you can find the link in the description, and the new Vintera Modified series has also got some very cool new colors. This Baja Telecaster is my main guitar, I play it most of the time, so if you wanna hear more sound samples, make sure to check my other videos. And if this was helpful to you, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like, it really helps the channel, and if you wanna see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Cheers!